Sometimes I get the question on how a wine could be non-alcoholic because if it's non-alcoholic, isn't it just grape juice? And no, that's not true. Most NA wines are initially made by first fermenting the grape juice into an alcoholic wine, but then it goes through a secondary process to remove the alcohol, thus creating a non-alcoholic wine. The most common way of doing this is through a process called vacuum distillation. So in general, a vacuum is created by removing air from a sealed container, and this process lowers the pressure inside that container. Essentially, when a wine is put in a vacuum where the pressure is decreased, alcohol can evaporate from that wine at a much lower temperature than it would when the pressure is normal. For instance, when pressure is normal, alcohol will evaporate at 173 degrees Fahrenheit. However, at lower pressure, wine can evaporate at 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is ultimately better for protecting a wine's structure and flavors. Then what's left behind is a wine with less than 0.5% ABV, which you can legally call a non-alcoholic wine or an alcohol-free wine. However, one caveat that you should know is that alcohol adds weight, texture, and body to a wine. So when you remove it, it can sometimes taste flat or watery. But nonetheless, non-alcoholic wines are still perfect for people who really enjoy the ritual, experience, and flavor of wine, but don't necessarily want to suffer the consequences of alcohol.